Hello everyone, this is Senior Biotech Analyst John Vandermosten. Welcome to our channel that educates the life sciences investor on exciting advancements in drugs, biologics, and devices. For more content and news like this, subscribe to our channel below and like or share with others. Hello everyone, we are back with electroCore CEO Dan Goldberger. We were talking about some of the future opportunities for the company. We were talking about current growth drivers, and now we're going to look at some other things that the company's working on, including their online store, which I think you have one both in the US and the UK. Yes, we're going to talk about some international distribution partners, which allows electroCore to, not only distribute in the United States and the UK, which we talked about, but also all around the world. The sun will never set on electroCore.
That's right.
And then, maybe we'll talk a little bit more about the commercial opportunity. But, first, I think one of the more exciting things that you're doing is the cash pay stores. In the
Yes.
world of high deductible healthcare plans, having your managed care company cover everything and get approved and all that, it's a hassle, and there's it adds extra cost to everything. So, Dan, maybe you can just tell us how your stores are working, how they fit into the current environment, and what the opportunity is.
Yeah. So as we pivot towards commercial, taking advantage of the commercial opportunity for our headache therapy, we really want to make this easy for consumers to get access to our therapy, right? Anytime as a consumer you look at acquiring something new, if it becomes complicated, you lose interest pretty quickly. And then that's in healthcare, in self-care, which is becoming more and more common. And with COVID, we all learned more and more about self-care in the home. Making things easy to acquire, easy to train and learn how to use them has become more and more important. And so to that end, and recognizing that more and more patients in the U.S. are covered by high deductible plans and are paying cash anyway, we've launched 2 channels in the U.S. The first we call G-Concierge, which is a physician dispense business model. And so we sell our product to the physician's practice at a transfer price, and the physician is making it available to patients, and he makes a margin on it. And what that does, not only does it make it easy for patients to get access to the therapy, but it gives the physician's practice a revenue stream, and effectively increases the size of our sales force.
Yeah.
More recently, in January, we launched e-commerce websites in the United States and in the UK. It's important to remember that this is a prescription therapy, so a consumer can now go to our website in either the UK or the United States, fill out a questionnaire, obtain a telehealth appointment, get a prescription, and they can use an FSA or an HSA card to pay for therapy.
Yeah, well, that's
and they can come back to our website for renewal prescriptions, for refill prescriptions.
Well, one of the interesting things that you mentioned is that you can do it all telehealth. You don't even have to go in. So if you have one of the indications, and remind us what the indication is in the UK.
So in the United States, it's primary headache.
Okay.
In the United Kingdom, we have much broader indications under the CE mark, including all primary headache, but also a variety of respiratory indications, gastroparesis, and on and on and on.
So for any of those indications, a potential user can go online, fill out the questionnaire.
Correct.
And then get assigned a physician who will then, if it's appropriate, prescribe gammaCore.
Correct.
And
they
can use their
and you can use your FSA and your HSA card. So now, given the beachhead that we have in the UK, we're also going to be expanding that internet access, that e-commerce access to the rest of Western Europe as the year goes on. So
what would be the first? Would it be France, Germany, or both? Or?
We already have a few legacy customers in both France and Germany, Benelux. Some of the Scandinavian countries. Southern Europe will take a little bit longer.
Okay, very good. And that kind of brings us to your international distribution partners, which are located all around the world. You recently announced one in Japan, Teijin, I believe.
Teijin Pharmaceuticals, yes. So
and that seems like it could be a pretty exciting partner. I mean, Japan, I think, is before China was rising, was the second most important single country in the pharmaceutical world or device world. And I don't know its ranking now, but it's still pretty important.
Yes.
So tell us about that. and how that might progress as time goes?
No, absolutely. And Japan, I'm not as fluent in pharmaceuticals, but certainly in medical devices, Japan is far and away the second largest business opportunity. And we have far better intellectual property protection in Japan. So Teijin Pharmaceuticals is a very large multinational, multi-billion-dollar business. They have done extensive due diligence on our therapy, and just last month we announced a license agreement which will lead to commercialization in Japan. The regulatory process in Japan is at least as time-consuming and complex as it is in the United States. And Teijin is going to do all of the investment to use the pivotal trials that we ran in the U.S. and Europe, reconfigure those for the Japanese Ministry of Health, and ultimately commercialize the therapy. We will be booking an upfront license fee, and as we go forward, we're going to be reporting product revenue as well as license revenue, which will be significant to our top line and certainly to our cash position in the next couple of years. Actual commercialization in Japan is going to be entirely dependent on the Ministry of Health process, and it's hard to handicap that. It's also important because Teijin is a large multinational firm, and it's a validation of the technology. They did a lot of due diligence, and for better or worse, this could be the tipping point where some of the other large med tech acquirers start to knock on our door.
Certainly. Yeah, that's definitely exciting. So that touches on international, and then there's also the commercial opportunity. We talked about this a little bit earlier. You're growing off a small base, but it could be by far the largest market in the United States.
Yeah.
What are we seeing there?
Yeah, we fully expect that the what we call the commercial channel in the United States will not this year, but in 2023 and beyond, be our largest revenue contributor. Right now, we are investing heavily in our cash pay channels, both direct-to-consumer cash pay channels. We're going to be ramping up our media spend in the back half of 2022 to drive consumers to any one of our commercial channels, and look for that growth to really start to accelerate in 2023. And we continue to work with the usual insurance company prospects. We have announced a few of the regional blues have given us positive benefit determinations, and we continue to negotiate fee schedules with them. We did announce a unique HCPCS code that CMS announced, and that gives us
last February or something like that.
That was about a year ago. Last April it went effective, and we'll continue those conversations. But the insurance companies, as you know, are masters of delay. So we're not going to wait around for them. We're building demand and creating these different channels for consumers to get access to the therapy.
Excellent. Well, let's spend our last minute talking a little bit about the numbers. You
Please.
Pre-announced first quarter revenues of about 1.9 million, so that's a run rate of just under 8 million a year.
Yep.
But at that growth rate, it'll be probably more than that by the end of 2022. Your market cap, I think, is around 35 million. You've got plenty of cash on the balance sheet, and you're losing a little bit of money every quarter. I mean, that amount of loss is decreasing. So, we're gonna tip towards positive free cash flow at some point. Speak to us a little bit about the financial side of the company and how it would look for investors.
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you said, revenues are growing substantially. We reported $5.5 million in revenue for the full year 2022. At 1.9 million for the first quarter, we're off to a great start, and I fully expect to blow through that $8 million annualized number that you just articulated. We also will have just under $30 million of cash at March 31st.
Okay.
And as you just pointed out, as revenues grow, we're spreading the fixed expense over a larger revenue base. We're narrowing that cash requirement on every single quarter. And so we're very, very comfortable that we've got a long runway with that cash balance at March 31st. The other thing I should mention is that gross margins have expanded very
You've
nicely.
beat our estimates for gross margin over the last several quarters, which was a nice surprise.
And we're going to beat them again. And gross margin has a lot to do with product mix. When we write a new prescription, we ship one of our nerve stimulators, but refill prescriptions are very, very inexpensive for us. And so as you see gross margins expand, not only are we spreading revenue over large revenue over a fixed expense, but the product mix towards the refills, towards that recurring revenue business model really drives outsized gross margin expansion. And it's very exciting for the long-term prospects of the business.
Well, you've got at least 10 or 12 good separate things working in your favor. So that's one of the reasons why we like electroCore so much. And also electroCore, CEO Dan Goldberger, ticker symbol for the company, ECOR. Thank you, and we'll be back again with more from Dan and myself.